Hello, Contrarian Dude here, and another video for Bernie Sanders fans answered. This one is from Vork. Hi, I liked your video. I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. As I see it, the basic difference here is you are more afraid of the power of government than you are afraid of the power of big business. Not entirely sure if I agree with the word afraid, but your premise is fair. He goes on, I agree with your fears though. When you say the oligarchs have us exactly where they want us, advocating for a bigger government so we strengthen the tool they use to control us. Yes, this is a very important point, but I'm afraid to say I believe the opposite is true too. When you see that government can work for the people, and in fact is the only tool that restrains corporations from committing every abuse there is on the book for profit, you get very scared of what would happen in a world where the people have little say and little power. It's incredible for me to see how a reasonable guy would ever advocate for a private police force like you did in one of the posts. It's just mind-blowing. Take a look at what private prisons are doing and what private armies do. So I actually responded to Volk already on this, and we had a little back and forth, and I shared with him a video that I made years ago talking about should we have a privatized police force. And for most people that just blows your mind, as it did Vork. And he's actually watched that video and come around a little bit. So if you haven't watched that video, I think it's really, really interesting. I know for most people the thought is just absolutely horrific, and they think the free market's going to come and destroy the little guy and poor people won't get justice and all these kinds of things. None of those things are true, and it's just all propaganda you learn at government-run school that the market is evil and you need the government to protect you from the market. So if you have the chance, please check out that video. It's well worth your watch. It'll open your mind at the very least, even if you don't agree with everything it says. But as to Vork's point, it is difficult to imagine a world where the little guy has even less say and less power than he does with a big government. I saw a study not too long ago where whether or not a piece of legislation gets enacted or not has absolutely no correlation whatsoever as to whether or not the public is an advocate of it or not. There's none. It's just irrelevant what the public wants. The little guy has no say whatsoever. Even collectively as a whole group, the little guy has no say whatsoever. If you don't agree with blowing up innocent brown people and on a faraway land who pose absolutely no threat to you, right now, no one cares what you think. No one cares. It's irrelevant. There is billions of dollars in profit made for producing bombs, blowing up buildings, getting the contract to rebuild the buildings you just blow up. And of course you stir up all the trouble and create all these people that hate you and produce terrorism here at home. And then they've got to produce even more weapons and more bombs to go and fight the terrorists that they caused in the first place. No one gives a shit because there is so much money available. And here's the worst part. They're stealing your money every single day, every single week. They're taking the money out of your pocket to pay for this nonsense. And if you ever don't fund their tyranny, they will come and kidnap you and throw you in a cage, and you will rot in jail for voting with your conscience and not buying a product that you despise. That is evil. That is pure tyranny. But what can you do in a free market? Stop paying them. Stop giving them your money. Stop funding this disaster, this tyranny, this oppression all over the world. And it stops like that. Let's just say, for round numbers, 50% of the country really want to blow up foreign lands because they're scared of them. And let's say 50% are like, just leave them alone and they'll stop bothering us. All right? Well, if only the 50% of people who want it have to pay for it, to begin with, they've got to pay twice as much as they did before. Well, even before that, if they knew how much it was costing us and they got an itemized bill on their pay slip every week that, $50 was taken this week and last week and the one before for this war that I've been campaigning on. And now that only the people who are advocating it pay for it, now it's $100 a week I have to pay for this. And I don't want to blow them up that much. Let's stop doing it. With freedom, you have a choice. No, it's not perfect. No, there's going to be troubles, but you have a choice. You can stop funding your own demise. You can stop funding things which you find unconscionable. But with tyranny, when it's a simple matter of getting 51% of people to vote for something, and if you achieve that, they have the right to steal money off of everybody and make them pay for their wishes. Well, now the little guy's voice is next to irrelevant, because that ability, that corrupting force, that privilege of stealing money from everybody is now so valuable that the decision makers are not going to respond to millions of people wanting what they want who aren't paying them. They'll respond to the people giving them millions of dollars in bribes. If you just look through that simple lens, it becomes really, really obvious that the big bad rich guys have no power at all without government. You can just turn your back on them and you can create prosperity for yourself. Now you may think in this current climate, yeah, but they employ so many of us, and without those jobs, the reason they employ so many of us is because they use so much regulation to destroy little business. That is why you need them so much. If you just eliminate all of that regulation that you are promised is for your own good to protect you from the big bad rich guy, in actual fact it's to protect the big bad rich guy from you leaving him and not working for him anymore, If you just give yourself that gift of freedom, now you can fight the big bad rich guys. You'll never do it through government. That is their tool, their weapon, you're on their turf, and you lose as soon as you step on the field. This belief, and it's very widespread, the vast majority of people believe it, that the free market is this evil, predatory, Mad Max beyond Thunderdome, people fighting and killing each other for a scrap of food, that without government, that's where you ended up, for sure. That's the destination. And you need to hold on to government or else you're going to end up there. This thought has been implanted into your mind through the government-run indoctrination camps laughingly called schools. And you believe that you need to demand more government, more privileges and power for the small minority of people. You need to load the weapon of the rich people, make a bigger, more powerful government, and then you'll be protected. And this entire false paradigm and false belief is built on the principle, if they can get you scared enough, if they can get you hiding behind government to protect you from the evils of the free market, then they win. If they can turn you into this cowering child hiding behind his mother's dress, then you'll never bother to look up and it's not your mother at all. In fact, you're hiding in the dress of your oppressor. Look what private prisons are doing. Yeah, they're being filled by governments with non-criminals. Really? You had a leaf in your pocket? Off to jail with you. That's the government filling the jails. That's not a free market environment. If you had to pay, I mean, if you do pay, if you had to pay and you were aware on the line item on your paycheck when the money came out, I have to pay $20 a week to put innocent people in prison because they smoked a leaf, would you really want to pay that $20 every week? Of course not. You would have the ability to withdraw. And even if only 30, 40, 50% of people wanted to withdraw, now the other 50% have got to pay twice as much. So half of them will withdraw. Now the remaining got to pay 4 times as much. You have to give people the gift, the ability to withdraw. Without that gift, the corrupting force of the monopoly of violence is so enticing and so overwhelming that the bad people will commandeer it, take control of it, and use it against you, which is exactly what we have seen in the United States.